Hello everybody, my name is Goosebumps for Dummies, legally on paper, given a birth name. Yeah, we predicted my channel name, it's crazy. And today, I want to wish you a happy holidays before I even dive into this. We just had Christmas and New Year's is coming up really soon, and I wish you all the best going into the next year. If you have any New Year's resolutions, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Even though this isn't the final video of the year, I'm very excited for New Year's, because 2024 has been quite a year, and not one of my best years, I'll tell you that much. We're going to round out the end of the year with our final ranking video, or our final big video of the year, being our most wanted ranking. Hell yeah. I'm excited to rank these books, not because I think most of them are good, disclaimer, it's just, I'm excited to finally get my most wanted take out there. I don't think it's a fairly hot take, but it's a lukewarm take that most wanted is easily, now I'm going to say it, the worst Goosebumps series ever made. Alright? Most of the books are pretty much dog shit or not remotely good or not recommendable. Yeah, most wanted, sleep on it. But there are a few bangers, so stick around if you want to find out what those may be. Yeah, and I've actually read all of these within very-ish recent time. I won't be very in-depth about everything. My reviews for each book individually will be more open and more talkative about the book's contents. So, yeah. And I have not reviewed every Most Wanted yet, so they will be coming out relatively soon within the next few months. I just wanted to get a ranking out there. Without further ado, let's just dive into this. Number 15. Planet of the Lawn Shits. Yeah, funny enough, the first, by number, there we go. My number, most wanted story is actually the fucking worst Goosebumps book and most wanted book I have ever fucking read. Yeah, I am going to be blunt and brutal. Fuck this book. Alright? I've already said this 1,000 times in the past. You really have to go watch my review if you want to understand the fucking hate for this book that I have. It drags every bad thing I can accumulate for a book possible into one bundle of a package. It is horrible. Not to mention, the worst 10 pages I have ever read are the fucking twist ending and the twist that came before it. It makes everything a waste of time. It contradicts things. It's just... you have to read it to find out. It's so fucking bad! Trick or Trap. Not be confused with Trick or Trapped from GYG, the very expensive Goosebumps book. This is the very cheap Trick or Trap. And it's dog shit. Yeah. The third worst Goosebumps book of all time, only being beaten out by Haunting of the Stars, another pile of shit about aliens, like Planet of the Lawn Gnomes, barely. Trick or Trap is actually quite fucking bad, because nothing fucking happens, and is 166 pages long. This is a special edition, and nothing happens. The ending is terrible, so it's a nice little bow on top of that shit pile that just came out of your dog's ass. Let alone, there is no dog, nor is there a zombie. There's no zombie! The cover's a lie, so don't expect this going into this book. And, the characters are pretty dog shit, and, any amount of payoff that we could have gotten just doesn't exist. There's no payoff to a certain idea in this book that we're waiting for it to happen. A trap! There's no payoff, and there's no revenge, which is what we're building up to. This is a revenge story. Next up, How I Met My Monster. It's still dog shit. I don't care about no puberty theme. This book has a pretty weak set of characters. It has a weak idea. It has a weak concept for a villain, let alone there is no true villain. What the fuck? This is like My Harriest Adventure gone wrong. When I see this art, I simultaneously combust, and I think it is amazing. However, the book does not reflect that. It is a fart. It is a wet fart. It isn't dog shit. Wet farts are arguably better than dog shit, but, like, it's approaching dog shit territory. It's pretty stinking bad. Why? It's offensive. I'm not even fucking kidding. I got offended by this book briefly. Well, so I'm more open to talk about it, because, you know, I'm not like, this offended me, I hate Goosebumps. It was like, it's kind of like a really bad interpretation of an illness. That's all I'm gonna leave that part out. That's where I'm gonna leave that at. The villain, the Haunter, is weak as hell, and there are some just unscary, unfunny, just really stupid, childish humor in this book, as well as it's bland. There's no fucking substance to it. Next up, here comes the Shaggedy, commonly praised for being like the 90s Goosebumps Series 2000s book. This one had some pretty freaking bad twists, and it wasted a lot of time. Yeah, get ready for a field day because we have The Lizard of Oz. Bruh. The Lizard of Oz is a really dumb story, let alone the title is stupid. It's a pun about Australia. That's what Oz is. And, yeah, it's one of those very typical stories where it's like Night of the Living Dummy, but with blank. Yeah, I'm not even fucking kidding. There's some decent body horror, but that's about it. Aside from, like, some small things. The twist ending is amazing, I think. At least one of them. I can't quite remember that part, but I know the twist ending, at least one of the twist endings, if there's multiple, is really fucking creepy. It's, Girl Cried Monster, if you know what I mean. Really like that. The reveal is stupid. That's what I think was thinking about the reveal. Reveal is stupid, about what's really going on. But nonetheless, I don't think this book's bad. I just think it could have been a lot better. It's definitely less than a mid-book, I'll give it that. Night of the Puppet People. This is, square down, my literal 5 out of 10 Goosebumps book. This is the most 5 out of 10 Goosebumps book of all time. Solid Night of the Living Dummy clone with some interesting-ish ideas. Wet fart in the final 30 pages. Yeah, it takes a weird turn, and there's some, you know, it's not even a great Night of the Living Dummy clone in itself beforehand, but it's not bad, but I wouldn't recommend it at all. It's mid. Next up, the most infamous book to me, Son of Slappy. I have some history of this book. I used to be an avid hater of Son of Slappy. Hater! I loathe this book. And I still do, to an extent. I'll give credit where credit is due. Alright. Son of Slappy fam, gather around the fire. Slappy's kind of good. I said it. Slappy's kind of fucking good in this one. Is he amazing? No! But he's a threat. He's a threat nonetheless. The twist ending's kind of fire. Whoa. I don't know if I used to hate it, but either way, I like the twist ending. Oh, sorry, I have one more little upside. Main character. Oh, kind of good main character. Other than that, the writing is pretty bad. There's some slang in here that genuinely makes me cringe. And there is some really weird stuff in this book that I was not a fan of. Let alone, it's a Night of the Living Dummy story. There are tropes through the roof, and it got really old. Next up, Frankensteins Dog. We're moving into the good books, everybody. These are books I genuinely recommend. This one's a light recommendation. It used to be an 8 out of 10. It's now a 7.5, so a score update from about 5 months ago when I initially reviewed this. Frankensteins Dog is okay. It's a better version of It's Alive. Gritty good rollout story. Won't blow you out of the park. False advertising. And, somewhat not great parts in this book. Next up, Zombie Halloween. Finally, Zombie Halloween. Some of y'all probably were waiting for this because this is one of the most popular, most wanted books and modern books of all time. Zombie Halloween. I'm not gonna lie. It's almost a banger. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. But it's almost a banger nonetheless. It's getting somewhere. It's doing something right, you know? It has some good ideas. It has a banger intro to the book. I think it's one of the best Goosebumps segments of all time. Yes, there's some good shit in Most Wanted. I know I've been dunking on this whole video, but there's some good shit in this series. However, if I'm being honest, there's some reveals here and some ideas in the party or ending of the book that are just flat and stupid. Alright, there's a flat conclusion to something that was really big being set up, let alone there's little payoff to a certain twist that might have been fakely revealed earlier in the book. Yeah, it's not a banger, but it's really good. These are the best of the Most Wanted series. Starting off with Creature Teacher, The Final Exam. Ignoring how repetitive it can get and the terrible ending, it's a banger. It's literally Creature Teacher but better, which I don't think is a big hot take if you have actually read both of them. Creature Teacher but better, and it's a new setting, it has pretty interesting characters, and I really like the twists. And now we have another special edition, the second special edition. This actually turned out to be my favorite of the labeled by number special editions. And I used to actually dislike this one, so I've had quite a turnaround. This is a ho that doesn't leave, baby. She good, she a sticker. She ain't hanging around with other dudes. This is a banger. This is a really good book. It's got a solid Christmas story that doesn't try to be anything extreme or crazy, but it's not so babyish you don't want to read it. It's a good story. There's some nice horror in here, and whilst there's a terrible ending to the book, it's a good story, and it has actually an overall really good climax, excluding small flaws. Next up, I don't even want to say it, but let me tell you. All right, we're gonna be here for a minute. Dr. Maniac will see you now. I have been relatively open about this. Whenever it gets brought up, I like this book, and I know it's a hot take. But I'm not gonna shy away from my true opinion. I think this book is super fun. Beginning to end, I think it is a genuine blast. Alright, there's no gun being held to my head, alright? Y'all want to look around the room? There's no guns. No guns being held to my head. I am seriously okay. Ignore the person in the window you might have saw. I am fine. There's no guns being held to my head. This book is true and truly a banger. I actually quite like this one. It is a banger. Beginning to end, it is really fun, and I really like all the superhero concepts in here. I like the main character, and I really enjoyed all of the fun superheroes we got to meet in this one, as well as the ending before the twist ending, which was basically the biggest reason why I'm not going to give this book anything higher than a highest, actually placing 9 out of 10 in all my 9 out of 10s in Goosebumps. This is the highest 9 out of 10 of all Goosebumps books so far. Yeah. See if any book can beat that, because that's tough. That's tough to beat if it's at the top of my 9 out of 10 list. Not quite a 9.5, though, just because of that final page. Yeah, really like this one. Hot takes out of the way, I think this is a pretty agreeable take for most casual fans, at least. And I'm no different. Nightmare on Clown Street, baby. I used to think this one was overrated until I gave it a reread, and my god. I was about to say, yeah, it's overrated, and then page 100 kicked in. Yeah, the reveals in this book of what's really going on below the surface, literally, and this is a 10 out of 10 book, by the way. Ooh, spoiled my score. Big whoop. What's going on in the circus is so cool, and I absolutely love it. I think there's a really interesting villain, albeit really stupid, in a certain manner. Completionist made a video kind of dunking on him, and a few other retarded villains, or at least with retarded actions. The Frightener. Dumb name, I know. It's kind of goofy. He's cool. I like the Frightener. We barely even get to see him, but what his impact is really notable. The book is genuinely an okay mystery story about a circus that seems to be wrong, with a missing father, and a really, really cool main character, as well as some slightly sexual jokes. So if you're into sexual humor, there's three. There's one about looking at girls, one about calling your mom hot, and one about a clown girl shaking her ass. Does that interest you guys? It's fucking gross, but does that interest you? And finally, number one. Y'all probably saw this coming. And that is Wanted the Haunted Mask. By golly, this is a banger, and I think it is severely underrated, but in a way, I understand what people are upset about this book. But guess what? I like the things that people didn't like. Talking about the second half of the story, the pumpkin patch. I was a big fan of it. I think it's some great pumpkin horror. It's a good haunted pumpkin patch story, pumpkin farm. And then you have the actual haunted mask part, and we already know the intro is a banger to this book. It's already talked about to death how gory and insane the intro is for a Goosebumps book, but the rest of the story of the haunted mask in here is actually quite good. I think it is quite a good read, and whilst it's nowhere comparable to the original, that story alone, as a whole, this book really makes up to be one of the most interesting and awesome Goosebumps books of all time, in my opinion. I really, really enjoyed this one. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this ranking video for all of the most wanted books. Tell me what you think of my ranking below, and share yours if you want to. You can bash on my takes all you want. I don't give a shit. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Merry Christmas.